I hate how my skin color has changed. I hate it. Some people like that, but I miss my tan skin. Yep, I used to have really, really tan skin, and now, uh, I mean, it's alright, but I love my hair today. I love when my hair looks like this. Anyways, this is my favorite book of 2024. Yeah, this is my favorite book that I have read in 2024. Although nothing can beat George Bernard Shaw. Did I talk about George Bernard Shaw before? He's my favorite writer. He is fucking awesome because he is. Okay, I'll give an example of a song, Bhool Ja by Char Diwari. He is like the literary equivalent of that song. Like he will use comic elements to show the societal structure, to show the human experience. Like he will use comical things and comical elements, and I love that. This is a man, okay? Get out of here. Everybody get out of here. He's awesome. He is my all-time favorite, right? He's supreme. He's out of this world. This George Bernard Shaw is a fucking genius. But like, keeping him aside, um, I really loved Anuja Chandramouli take on Shakti and everything that she wrote in this. Some stories were from Purans because I have like read them in detail when I felt really lost. I have, interestingly, I have like, no, not interestingly. Sorry. Uh, in a little creepy way, yes. In a little creepy way, I have read a lot of Purans because I felt really lost at one point. So I was like, सब कुछ ही चख लिया मैं अपने को खोजने को. इंसान बनाए देखो I don't know, just I wanted to know if like the universe gets offended when an innocent person gets hurt. I just wanted to know that, and yes, the universe does get offended when an innocent person gets hurt. So I just needed that answer, and yep. But we will talk about Anuja Chandramouli. The name of this book is Shakti, the Divine Feminine. Do you see the cover, bruh? There's a moon on her head. I love everything about this cover, and this is my favorite book. This book also has my favorite interpretation of Shiva up until now, because I think the last time I read about Shiva in like this type of book was in 2021 in some cafe probably, and I remember the particular definition that Shiva means emptiness, like it means nothing, like it means nothingness. So I was like, pretty interesting. Like, what do you mean nothing? Like, what do you mean? Everything means something, right? No, Shiva means nothing, and like it is like the foundation on which like Shakti's creativity and Shiva is the foundation. So I was really confused about like what is going on. But like my friends like helped me to understand that, and I am so grateful. I have two very religious friends who are like really up for these kind of things. Ki haan, like ask me. I ask like a 8-year-old. So like, and sometimes even after explaining 10,000 times, I will ask the same question again, because I would be like, one more time. just I have that habit. So yeah, just. But if I get it, so I get it. Okay. Yeah, but like sometimes I don't get it. I'm very real about it. Yes. So just mm, I love this book. There are some things that I feel like are did feel like obviously imaginary or made up. So like it goes with the author. Nothing felt out of place or anything, and I don't love each and every chapter, but um I'll tell you what I really really love about her writing. I love the way she has tried to explain uh, the bond between Shakti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Like how she has a connection with all three of them in a different way, and how it impacts the whole universe and everything. So I like that. And my favorite line, my favorite line I really don't prefer the meaning of Shiva as nothingness. Like, it must mean something. Maybe we are not privileged enough to know what it actually means. हो सकता है because humans are like very like greedy and just should not be trusted with like very very like sacred information sometimes, because it's like we have proven that we are not very trustworthy. So I uh, kind of understand the reason behind secrecy towards like very very sacred things. So I am with them. Don't tell us. I just yeah, like I just the people who like earn it through their karmas, right? So that is okay, because like they develop a certain sense of self control towards the sins and the desire to sin. So like they are worthy, and they um earn it through their own hard work of karmas. So they deserve that knowledge, sort of. They work hard for it through lifetimes. They don't work hard for it in one lifetime. They work hard for it for like different lifetimes. So it's a big deal. So I understand that. And but I love this line. I recall in 2021 I got a little disappointed because of that definition ki Shiva means nothingness. So it is kind of melancholic, but I like this one more, and I'll tell you why. Because it is very very sweet. Okay, it is so sweet, and I love it. Just his name was Shiva. It meant one who was beloved by the goddess, therefore beloved by all. One who was beloved by the goddess, therefore beloved by all. So I was like, yeah, this is makes more sense. Like I like it. I like this definition more. So I love how she. Uh, I love Anuja Chandramauli's definition of Shiva. Ki one who was beloved by the goddess means beloved by all, because he is a pretty like he's not, he's a very different god. I have always considered Lord Shiva to be like a very different, very no, wait, different is the wrong word. Unique. He is a unique god somehow. Like I really love what my friend said, that it's like he's there and he's also the farthest. Like he yeah, I really love it, and I love that he is like mm, I have this emotional connection with this story, that the the Sati Shiva story and the like Parvati Shiva story. So I don't know why, but I really really love it. I just love it. Although like I don't prefer. I am a happy ending type of person. So I yes, I'm like कि हो जाए, थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा but सबका हो जाएगा happy ending. I just I yes. So I when I try to understand that story ki matlab she uh, when she like gave herself to the fire when Sati took her life. So she she kind of she killed somebody who was like who she killed the wife of somebody who had a lot of things to do, and she killed someone who was beloved of somebody else. So like I try to look at it from a little, hmm I think it's called a third person POV. I get really confused in the like first person POV and third person POV, but both are my favorite. So I do get confused sometimes. But like I try to look at it like, since like Shiva loved her a lot and she only had karmas with Shiva, so that's why like she had to, when she got reborn, so she had to like heal her own soul through like penance. It was not to impress Shiva, it was to like heal her own soul. I try to look at it like that, because it's the same soul. So like how like yeah, like aren't they the same soul? Like this was Shiva and this was Shakti, so they were like same soul, right? So uh, I don't think she was doing it to impress him or anything. I think she was doing the penance to heal her own soul, because she killed herself. So it was like, she killed the love of somebody's life. Yes, and she, whatever reason, for whatever reason she did it, it was, I consider it valid, because um they are two very very different goddesses. First of all, like Sati is goddess of very different things and Parvati is goddess of very different things. So I have read in detail, abhi I won't talk about it, but just like they are the goddess of two very different things. They have two very different type of moral code. They had two very very different personalities, and I really like that story. Yeah, I love that story, and I also loved Moni Roy's performance in that series. So Moni Roy played Sati in Devo Ke Dev Mahadev, so I really loved her, and oh, I really love the conversation between Sati and Parvati. Yeah, there is a conversation between Sati and Parvati where like Sati is talking to Parvati, and I thought that was so interesting. And mm, I don't know, I just, that I find that story like really intriguing. Yeah, yeah, yes. But this book is just something else. It's just something else. I loved everything about it. I love how uh, I just love it, you know. It's really, really good. It's really good. It's really, really good. And I will lie, I would love to read one more line. I don't want to spoil it more, but like this is something that I underlined. So, like Brahma was like uh, in love with Prakriti at that point. Brahma was in love with Shakti, and he and Vishnu Bhagwan was trying to console him that, you know, uh, you should make peace with things. So he was trying to console him कि मतलब you should understand why Shiva and Shakti belong together. So he said these things, and I love it. I read it last year in May, and I was like, damn, like I love this whole paragraph Anuja Chandramouli wrote. How did you write it, bruh? This is the type of shit I wanna create. Like the things that she has said is so freaking human emotion. Better the diamond. I just genuinely like, sometimes I feel like some paragraphs are worth way more than any physical objects. Yup. So just, this is one of those like Vishnu, this is Vishnu Bhagwan talking, by the way, okay? As I already explained to you, they were always meant to be together. He loves her enough not to shackle her to him with chains of attachment, unlike others, especially you. He does not love, he does not use love as an excuse to stake his chain, hold her captive to his will, and then do as he pleased with her. Not that he ever had a choice in that matter, of course, but most importantly, he respects her individuality and simply lets her be. Shiva is never insecure and is content to know that she will always be his better half, even when she needs solitude to follow her own whims to wherever they might lead her. I was like, what did you do, Anuja Chandramouli? Just what did she do, bro? I can't. This is the most beautiful thing I have. I don't know what she did, but I will read it again. It was so beautiful. Like, he respects her individuality, simply lets her be. Shiva is never insecure and is content to know that she will always be his better half, even when she needs solitude to follow her own whims to wherever they might lead her. He loves her enough not to shackle her to him with chains of attachment. I was like, damn, bro. Like, just I love how beautifully she has like wrote it, because it is true. Like, you pick up any story of uh, Shiva and Shakti, you pick up any story, there is this respect towards her individuality. Even when the family of Sati did not respect her individuality, Shiva still did respect her individuality. And even though he did warn her that you should not go to that function where, like, yeah, things like bad things were meant to happen or something. So even then, he accepted that. He, and she basically gave an ultimatum to him that if something bad will happen, then you should show up after something bad has happened, and you should not show up before. So just, just he's very sad story, but I love that story. I love it. I cannot. I There's a particular picture of Shiva carrying Sati on his shoulder. I love, I love it. I love it, and I actually saw it when I was I don't know, seventh, eighth standard. I probably saw it in seventh standard or something, and I was like, this is so beautiful. And then I did not get to see it again. But then I found that particular picture again, and I was like, see, what belongs to you finds its way to you in mysterious and mystical ways somehow. So I love that picture a lot, because it's like, I don't know, it's like there's this melancholy. I like men in love, I like men out of love, I like men half dead in love. Just show me emotion. Where's the emotion? I just genuinely like, like, I love that picture so much. I think it's a painting, it's probably a painting. I love that painting a lot, because I don't know, like, he's just like, he's so depressed. He's like, it does not matter if it's like her corpse. It's literally corpse. Like, it's a dead body of Sati, and he's still carrying it to, like, everywhere. He's taking it everywhere, and he forgot his responsibilities in that time period. So the gods had to, like, interfere. But my lover boy. I love that story a lot. Like, I feel a lot of emotions towards it. So also, BGM of Devo Ke Dev Mahadev was really good. I was like, damn, so dope. But I love this line where she explains Shiva is never insecure and is content to know that she will always be his better half, even when she needs solitude to follow her own whims to wherever they might lead her. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh. I like how she has structured every sentence. Sometimes I feel Stephen King is like bad at structuring sentences. Like, yes. What are you trying to say, bro? Say it directly. I just genuinely like, sometimes I feel like Stephen King घुमाऊं a lot. Like he will like take 1,000 turns and then be like, हाँ इधर ही खड़े होना था. तो वापस लाके like he will bring you back to square one somehow. तो but I love him. I love him. But it's not easy to love Stephen King. But I mean, you love what you love. So I really find his ideas interesting. So because of that, but I like her sentence structure more. I like her writing style more. I like Anuja Chandramouli writing style more than Stephen King. Just, I don't know, it's just really beautiful. She is a, I think she's a South Indian, and she is trained in probably classical dance. I think I saw her Instagram ID. I can't recall properly, but I was like, I loved your book. In the middle of the night, I'm shouting in on her page. Like, I really, really loved your book, bro. So the awesome, awesome. I love it. just, I cannot hide my love for things sometimes. So. There's a line in this which I want to read. Uh, hmm. There's a particular chapter. Wait, not this. This is romantic. No romance. Just wait. Uh, um, I love the conversation between Kali and Shakti. So Kali is like a incarnation of Shakti, goddess Kali. We all know that. But the conversations, I love what Anuja Chandramouli has cooked in this book, bro. Some next level thing. Like, I love it, and uh, I just love it, and I love the conversation between Shakti and Kali. Arey, that paragraph, bro. Yeah, yes. So, Shakti loved Kali better than anyone else, even Shiva. She was an essential part of her. She took her away from herself to a place where she could just be, without any of the concerns that always threatened to overwhelm her, against which she had long stood firm, insecure in the knowledge that someday it would be too much to withstand. But Kali would never ever go down. She was in she was inevitable. She could devour all of creation, but none possessed what it would take to consume her. Such knowledge